back in Iowa for the Knoxville Nationals, and actually it's us who should be thanking them. Don't you think, Brock Yates? The fans are so terrific to us here every year.
They sure are. They come out here by the thousands and have a great time watching exactly this kind of stuff. Great sprint car racing, mobs of good cars, and a ton of dramatic stories, including Doug Wolfgang's, of course, and this man, Jeff Swindell. Now, like Wolfgang, he is in this D main through a series of misfortunes, including a couple of blown engines, and this incident as well during the A feature last night during the non-qualifiers events. That is Jeff on the outside there, racing Wolfgang, as a matter of fact, in the blue number 4A. He tangles with the 68G, the yellow automobile of Ricky Gall, and it drives him up into the fence. Jeff spins out without doing major damage to the automobile, but it put him out of the event and forced him into this D main. So he faces the same long set of odds, Steve Evans, as does Wolfgang.
And no one had to tell that to Jeff Swindell as he climbed out of that car last evening, Brock. He knows that he is up against the sprint car version of a Mount Everest climb. It's not impossible. It can be done. But, boy, if you make any slip along the way, you're history.
Now, remember now, the top 3 finishers will advance to the C feature here tonight. Tony Wyan and Mike Jones up front on the front row. Swindell and Rich Kramer in the second row. And in row 3, Terry Thorson and Doug Wolfgang. Behind them, a bunch of hopefuls, guys that really don't have a really very strong chance of making it. Low-budget guys trying to make it in this sport on relatively low dollars. So we got a couple of really quick runners and a bunch of guys that are doing a good job with what they can handle budget-wise, but going to be a tough row for everybody in this race.
Well, Jeff Swindell and Doug Wolfgang better enjoy starting up towards the front, because even if they're successful in transferring throughout the night, they're going to be at the back from now on.
Absolutely. Oh, this is the field. We've got 22 starters in this field, including Marlon Jones at the back. Do you remember that giant crash he had here a couple of years ago, Steve?
Oh, absolutely. Coming out of turn 4, and they are underway. The first race of the evening, the D main, and all eyes are on the number 8 car of Doug Wolfgang and the blue car, the 4A machine of Jeff Swindell. And look at the Wolf move.
The Wolf is already charged up underneath the 26 car of Rich Kramer and beginning to challenge as Tony Wyan and Mike Jones continue to lead it.
Jeff Swindell, the blue 4A car, did not get a great start. He's got the 26 machine of Rick Kramer in front of him, no longer. Right around Kramer, and behind Wolfgang comes Jeff Swindell.
All right, here are your leaders, Wyan and Jones, but now being challenged by the orange number 8 of Wolfgang. There he goes by the 38 of Tony Wyan. Now in second, the white 66 up ahead of Mike Jones. On the outside, Wolfgang now captures the lead as they head down into turn number 3 and continues to charge hard.
So this big crowd getting exactly what they wanted from Doug Wolfgang. An immediate move to the front. The fight right now is for that second position in the transfer spot. 66 Mike Jones, 38 Tony Wyan, and 4A the blue car of Jeff Swindell. Swindell's got to move up. He can't transfer from where he is.
All right, the first potential victim, the 38 of Tony Wyan. He falls to Swindell. Swindell makes a fantastic move between the two of them. Drives underneath the 66 car of Mike Jones to take second place. Jones, though, won't give it up easily as he follows him down through turns 3 and 4. But Jeff Swindell, too much, Steve Evans, right now. So it's the two hot guys, Wolfgang and Swindell, who have established an early lead here.
Yeah, but it's these two guys battling for the final transfer spot. 38, the yellow car of Tony Wyan, and 66, Mike Jones. Now, Rich Kramer, the 26 car, has fallen back a bit and is getting all he can handle, more than he can handle, from 51, Larry Hillerud. We are halfway through the D main.
Good race for 5th between Kramer and Hillerud as we watch our leader, Doug Wolfgang, drive underneath the 11E car of Dave Eakern. Wolfgang continues to charge on here. Up ahead, the 17, the black automobile of John Tierney. He too falls a lap down behind the flying Doug Wolfgang. Jeff Swindell, the blue 4A automobile, charging hard, but a big job ahead of him if he tries or attempts to run down Doug Wolfgang. Wolfgang is flying tonight.
But I'll tell you what, Wolfgang and Swindell both solidly transferred if they can hang on. They're giving the lap traffic a lot of elbow room. They don't need to touch wheels with anybody at this point.
All right, here comes racing flag to some of the slower automobiles. A lot at stake here for Wolfgang and Swindell, and he does not want to see anybody balk them on their way, hopefully, onto bigger and better things here tonight. But a long, long road for both of them.
And both of them, Brock, also need to conserve their equipment a little bit. If they are successful in this incredible quest, they're going to need something left as the evening wears on.
You're absolutely right. He comes up on the number 47 car, Jerry Hansen. The final lap coming up here. There's Doug Clark holding up that big white flag. Half a mile left for Doug Wolfgang as he continues, hopefully, to advance here tonight.
Well, quite frankly, this is a race that Doug Wolfgang should have won, and he's going to, obviously. But there was not the kind of talent here he's going to face in the C-main later on when he tags onto the end-to-end. It's going to get progressively tougher as Wolfgang takes the checkered flag at the D-main.
Jeff Swindell on his way as well as he finishes second. So the two strong runners here, they are now moving into the C feature, but they will start at the back and remember have to work their way through that to finish among the top two to advance to the B. So it's just begun for Doug Wolfgang.
We're back in Knoxville, Iowa, the Marion County Fairgrounds, where every seat in this huge house has been sold out for weeks. Doug Wolfgang wins the D-main. Jeff Swindell and Tony Wyatt also pick up transfer spots. And this is a time to remind all of you sprint car fans, if you plan to attend here next year, you better do something about it real quick. There's lots of fans outside waving green money at people with tickets, and they're not selling. Doug Wolfgang out of the car, very unemotional. He did what everybody expected him to do, and that was to win over some admittedly average competition. Gary Gerald?
Well, the first step on a long, difficult road is now in the book. Doug Wolfgang makes the transfer. Now the real hard work comes. Will you make changes in the race car?
I'm going to make a little change, but I don't really know what to do yet because the track's getting slick and right in the middle. But it's real good on the top and the bottom yet, so I can't get it too tight, but I want to tighten it up a little bit.
Got those competitive juices going, I bet.
Yeah, I'm all right yet, but I start to tail this next one. So we'll just have to get it just a little bit better, I think. We're not really right there yet.
All right. Thanks. Steve?
Very cool and very calculating is the Wolf. Let's go to Brock.
Well, Steve, Jeff Swindell transfers, ran a good, strong second. I think Doug had a bunch more power. We could see it on the straightaway, but still, you hung in there, and the most important thing is you keep on moving tonight.
Yeah, you know, that's the main thing. Do what we can do. You get to the 1 or 2 spot, and that's what you got to do in every race. So, you know, he is going down the straightaways a little better. I think we're working a little better. The car's actually working a little better, but I mean, they got a fresh motor in, and you know, ain't much you can do about that. But you know, on the start there, starting on the bottom, we got kind of pinned down, and you know, the top. Normally, when you're running with a little bit slower cars, they'll tend to go to the bottom. I couldn't get to the top, and Doug got up there. That's where he started on the outside, so it made it pretty easy for him to get around there. But you know, we did what we had to do. We're in the next race, so you know, we'll see what we can do with it now. You know, it's just a touch and go game. You know, you got to play it as hard as you can and do what you can do and
keep on trucking, man.
That's it. It's all over then. You know.
Go get him.
All right, thanks.
Okay, Steve.
Thank you, Brock. I'm with Tony Wyatt, Springfield, Illinois, the 38 car. And Tony, you're known as a real short track ace, but you look good tonight on the big guy.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the straightaways are a little long here for me tonight. I normally run on the short tracks in Illinois, Missouri, and Indiana. But I got kind of stuck in a race there with 2 tough guys, and they're pretty tough to beat.
Those closing laps, you appeared to just let me have third. Nobody mess with me.
Well, yeah, I was kind of getting a little loose, and track's getting a little slicker, and we're going to try and tighten the car up. Maybe somebody won't start the next race, and we'll be able to get in.
Okay. See you then.
Well, we got some good news for Tony. His pit crew obviously didn't tell him that the top 3 advance, and he will move into the C main, as will this orange number 8 automobile of Doug Wolfgang, as the crew works hard to get that machine ready. There's Deuce Terrell just mounting up a fresh new left rear tire. I'm sure Doug will get fresh rubber all the way around for this next upcoming race. There's Sammy Swindell over at his brother's car. Sammy already assured of a starting spot in the big feature race, talking with his brother, his younger brother. He'll try to give him all the advice he can to make sure the Swindell brothers are around for the finish here at Knoxville. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
sprint cars. I'm Steve Evans, along with Brock Yates and Gary Gerald. And that is Jeff Swindell and crew hurrying from their pit spot to get out onto the grid for the lineup of the C main. Now, Swindell and number 8, Doug Wolfgang, are the only two teams that really have to hurry. You see a late-minute wing adjustment on Swindell's car. Apparently, everything buttoned up as well for Doug Wolfgang as they move out. Boy, the pressure on the crews here, Brock, as well as the driver now.
Enormous. They have very little time between these big, long races. There's an obvious endorsement for their man, Doug Wolfgang, the number 8. They dearly love him here. He's won 5 times. And now let's go to Gary Gerald in Wolfgang's pit.
So veteran chief mechanic Gary Deuce Terrell has made the changes now for Wolfgang, but obviously the challenge becomes much more difficult. Ahead of him now in this C-main event, drivers like Jimmy Sills. You've got Keith Kaufman. You've got Jim Bell, who's been an earlier winner this week at Knoxville, in a field that's very, very strong. For Wolfgang to come from the back and to get one of the 2 transfers available is the immediate challenge, but he's been the king of the spectacular for years here at Knoxville. Let's see what happens.
Well, if he can win here, he will equal this man's record. 6-time winner, Steve Kinzer. They're talking to a fan. He'll be ready for the A-main along with his uncle, Carl Kinzer, who has also been in victory lane 6 times. Been the crew chief on Steve's car, all 6 victories. But that's not all Steve's done around here. Earlier, our Steve had a look at this.
Well, it might appear that outlaw king Steve Kinzer is finally in jail, where a lot of drivers think he belongs. Now, that's the dunk tank here at the Marion County Fairgrounds. 3 balls for $1, all proceeds to charity. Usually it's other drivers or fans of other drivers trying to dunk Steve. Not so. Wife Dana and son Kurt are paying to dunk husband and father. And I'll tell you, Steve has been in the water a lot here. Can you hit it? Can you put him in the water, Dana?
I don't know.
She couldn't hit the side of a barn.
Well, let's find out.
Okay, let's find out.
Oh, first time out of the box. Steve Kinzer is in the drink. You know, Steve, it's one thing other drivers or fans, but your own wife.
Oh, well, I don't know what to say. I tell you what, I think she made a lucky shot there, first one.
Well, you think so? Well, she's on the mound again.
Well, everybody had a terrific time here. All the proceeds for this went to the World of Outlaws Benevolent Fund, as Dana almost drilled him a second time. Got a great arm on that lady, but I'll tell you what, this even worked better.
In fact, foolproof. What a great time. All right.